is Jamie, and I'm a self-taught psychic medium, pet intuitive, and intuitive coach. And my purpose in this podcast is to help you feel more connected, at peace, living a life that has you feeling fulfilled in all directions, and to uplift you and bring whatever relevant information that I can, because doing psychic readings on the daily, I encounter a lot of stuff, and we're all going through similar situations. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode. So excited. In this kind of episode, I have one of my dear friends with me, and we met through my kind of business and social media and stuff. This is Crystal.
Hi.
So, I wanted to hear like your perspective on how you found me and why you were drawn or called to me, and how your life has kind of like shifted a little bit. We've had a lot of readings together, and you're even one of my Patreons where we talk every month for that, answering 3 questions for you, but we also talk all the time. And so I'm happy to have you. I'm really, really excited to hear like your perspective, because I've never really kind of talked to someone that was, you didn't know me at all, and we do readings together, like your perspective of me, even though you know me kind of pretty well. But how'd you find me, and how has your life shifted? Like, were you into the spiritual stuff? Were you into aliens? Were you kind of just like testing the waters to see if I was full of it, or what kind of attracted you to like get a psychic reading? And was it your first one?
TikTok is the reason I found you. And I chose you because I was like, well, let's just see if she really is real. And you were like, hit everything on the nail. I was like, oh, okay, she's real. And then you were not my first, but definitely the most accurate and very detailed.
So. I like that. Thank you. How was your kind of experience? Not bashing any psychics, but I hear like crazy stories. I like my approach of like keeping it down to earth. And I don't know if you notice, I try to make it, well, what do you kind of think? Like, use your intuition. I love that when I have like repeat kind of clients, but you're probably very, very intuitive more, in the past few, probably a year or so than you were, before we kind of met.
You've taught me to trust my intuition, because I'll be like, I know the answer is yes, but I really need the reassurance. And so then and then whatever it is, it always comes back like, yes, it is. And so me getting into the PTA program, you're going to get in, but there's going to be like this break. And I was like, whatever. And then I got in, and then there's this break, and I'm like, holy crap, everything keeps happening.
And it starts to kind of come true. So tell me about the story that you told me recently. I mean, if you want to. The first reading that I had with you, it was actually in my car. I don't know if you know this or not. For some reason, I remember exactly where I was. And the only thing that really, really sticks out is your person, the boyfriend that you wanted to find, which wasn't like the next boyfriend that you found, but it was like your like good kind of next relationship. And I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but you told me recently that it came true, and that some of the stuff that I said was like, oh, wow, now a year later or whenever, it makes sense. It's exciting.
So it was about a year ago whenever we had this reading, and I had went through a divorce, and I was like, I'm ready for the one person, because I had already, checked out of that other, it was a bad relationship. And so, I was like, I'm ready to find the person that's going to love me and be so sweet and just be my person. And so my soulmate. And so he was like, well, I remember it because I don't know, I just do, but he was like, he's going to have a beard, and he's going to be tall. And he was like, he's really strong. And you're like, he owns his own business. I keep seeing him in a truck, and there's woods everywhere. And you're like, there's shavings, like the wood chip shavings. And I was like, whatever. And I completely lost all sight of you telling me about that. And then I met this guy a while back, and we kind of were taking it real slow, and we kind of got to know each other. And then all of a sudden I was in love with him. And then we came out open about our relationship because like I kept it hush hush. And I was laying in bed one night with him and I was like, oh my God. I was like, it was you. I was like, you own your own business. And he does logging stuff. And I was like, and you smell like this cedar stuff. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but like my psychic friend, she told me I was going to meet you. And I was like, and this is the time frame that I met you in. And I was like, it all happened. I said, everything. And he's like, have your night meds kicked in? And I was like, no, seriously, like, listen. And so, but he's been really, really amazing. And the only thing that I think I remember, and I wanted to go back and listen to the recording again, but I haven't had time, was he said that he had one kid. And what's crazy is we're waiting on the DNA results of the one kid. Mm-hmm. And so this is totally bizarre.
Did you just think of that like within the past weeks as well of the kid stuff, or did we talk about that? Because that's interesting. We'll see. But I love that. I love how it's not, so kind of crazy. It's not like I told you your future. You kind of found it your own way, probably following your intuition. And it wasn't like, all right, where's this person? There was even something about like his initials where I said like, don't get hung up on that. Don't really worry about that.
Yes, you said I was hung up on the letter J, and you said, Crystal, don't get hung up on that. And so I completely let it all go. And his name is Anthony, or he goes by Anthony, but his real name is Jonathan. So that was a pretty big deal for me whenever I realized, and I just realized his name was Jonathan whenever I looked at his driver's license. We've been dating a while, and I was like, oh my gosh, your name starts with a J. And I would have totally passed him up if I would have been focusing on the letter J.
Mm-hmm. Yay. So that's so
good
happy
to just go with the flow with it.
That's so sweet. I love it. Good job. Good intuition. Good finding and following your path. You talked about when you were doing the career kind of stuff, how I said, don't freak out about like the break. And I like that we hear this stuff and life kind of happens. So it's not so much of, all right, I got to do this because Jamie said it. I like how you were like, well, just see what happens. I hear that a lot of, we'll see, or you're kind of full of shit. In the beginning of my psychic work, I used to be like, fight people on it of like, no, but really like write it down, pay attention. It's going to make sense. I know what I'm talking about. I see this. It's very, very vivid. And I was just like, oh, you'll figure it out later. Losing all that like control freakness side on me. But yeah, so what else? I mean, if anything has kind of shifted in your life, you opened up like a whole new can of worms on like your spirituality and stuff. You talked about like trusting your intuition kind of more. Is there any like interesting stories, or like I feel that a lot of my clients, they come to me and it's like, they're getting psychic and psychic and psychic. Do you feel like you got your own kind of psychic stuff going on?
I do feel that way, in which I don't really trust it because I don't trust me totally, but like I'll be like, I know the answer is yes because I know. And my daughter's the same way. She'll be like with the baby thing, she's like, it's his baby. And I've been saying that the whole time too, but it's really, I'm anxious because like they're so little.
Well, good job. Something that I show people to do mostly in my class and then in private coaching. I don't know if I ever told you, it's kind of how you can like listen to your yes, no kind of answers. So do this with me if you want. Think of a question that we know is a yes, like for all three of us. Am I a girl, yes or no? And if your heart kind of area were a compass, which direction would these like arrows or whatever point to that was a yes? Like, am I a girl? Do you feel like an arrow points like to the left or horizontal or whatever? And then ask another question like, is my name, Danielle? Do you feel like if this arrow were the answer to your question, that it kind of like shifted somewhere else? That's how you can like use your body as a pendulum. And then, the other thing of you get like the yes, no kind of stuff in your head too. That's just so you can like ground down how to get your quick yes or no questions. I do that a lot when I'm driving and like at a stop sign and lost of like, all right, which way to go? Left, right, left, right. And then when you try to like, all right, calm down, think about it, breathe through it, get your intuition right kind of answer. But speaking of psychic stuff, we could do this together too. Is there anything interesting that we could perhaps like feel into? I know that you do have some people in spirit if we wanted to like pop in and connect with them, or if there's like any kind of psychic stuff, questions about the universe, because you said that you come up with good questions as well. Just for maybe fun, what's something we could tap into?
We can tap into people that have passed on that's around me always. And I can feel them when they're around me. I can feel people's energy too. And that has gotten intense or more intense since I've been doing every month with you.
Yeah, the way that I usually feel, that's really amazing. It's usually not until I like tune in, tap in of like, all right, who's around me? I am, on the clock or I'm working right now, that I actually feel that kind of shift, unless it's something that's like, really like sweet and mushy and gushy. So do you feel anyone around you now?
My ears are like, I can't explain it.
Ringing,
It's kind
popping?
of like, it's like a loud noise. It's not like a ringing, but it's almost like someone's a high pitched noise and drives me crazy.
Probably
But
like
so I
in
feel
to one of
that,
them.
but I don't like, normally I feel them like really on me. Like I can feel them here.
Yeah, same with me. I usually feel like the way that I explain it is like that unconditional love, like when you feel in love, and there's just like a lightness in your heart. So for you, who in spirit do you have that's a female, like a motherly, grandmotherly kind of figure?
I have my grandmother,
Yeah. Is she on your mom's side or your dad's side?
my mom's side.
Okay. Were you close with her? Do you like her? I mean, I just feel like she's around you. And the way that I kind of see what she's doing to you is being very, very sweet and comforting. She reminds me of someone who would like check in on you when you're little, like, are you sleeping? Are you tucked in? You got the blanket on you? She just feels like that kind of energy that she just wants to like, you okay? You need anything? I got you. And still like definitely pulling strings like for you. So I don't know how much you want to like talk about her or feel into her, if you want to connect with anyone else, or if you want to connect with Shorty, who is someone that we do tap into a lot. He's one of your kind of like AKA spirit guides. Recent relationships. I don't know if you guys were married or not. I just know that he's very, very close to you. If we wanted to connect with him or everybody or whatever
We can
you want.
connect with everybody. I'm game with everything. My grandmother hasn't really spoke with me much, but she's always normally just really quiet.
Yeah, like
Like
tiptoeing
she's there.
around.
Yes, but
Uh-huh.
she's not there.
Want to connect with her a little bit more. So was she in a nursing home or somewhere like this where she wasn't forgotten, but was there somewhere where she was and it's like the family, we didn't worry about her, but not in the like disrespectful kind of way. It just feels like if there were anything for her to say, like that was reassuring to you or to your family or to your mom, it's like, hey, don't really be beating yourself up over this. Like, don't feel bad. I was fine. I was just fine. When I tap into her, it's like that emotional stuff is still kind of there of just wanting people to like not be beating themselves up, I guess is the way I explain that.
So I moved in with her to take care of her whenever she was sick, but I was 13 or 14, so I wasn't very good. So here lately, I've been really thinking about it a lot, like a lot. And I feel a lot of guilt because I should have done better. And like if I was where I am now, I would have done so much better. But
At 13. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. That's sweet. That's sad. The way that she was kind of, I don't know if I said not alone, but there was nothing to kind of be worried about. So let me see. And then, I mean, if there's anything that she wants to kind of elaborate, did you ever make her tea? Did you ever like, or even like coffee or something, like you were doing something in the kitchen for her and it was like, what she's showing me is you were fine because you made her this every day and that's all she really needed. She just needed something to drink sometimes. And like that was like your duty or your job or something. I know that we can make coffee or tea or whatever at 13 kind of years old, but she has that like sweetness about her where at least from her perspective, like she was fine. She wasn't like a needy Nelly, I think is what I heard.
See,
And
I did
then
make her coffee and tea every day.
oh, that's what she needed. Did you also dust her house? Did she have like a lot of like fixtures and stuff around her house or around her kind of area?
Knickknacks.
And it's like, you know, when someone is, I'm just going to use the example of like babysitting of like, I don't know what I need to do, but there's dust over here. So I could take care of that and I can tackle that. You said that you live with her, right? What she shows me is like you being like, uh, um, what can I kind of do? So with you taking care of her, she almost feels like she wanted you to like live your life as well. Let me see if there's anything else. And then, you know, if you have any kind of like questions or something, remember that you're doing this with me a little bit. Can you like
Right.
feel her love and how it's happy and how she doesn't want you to be upset or twisting and turning and thinking about these things? Did you used to like, did you go to sleep before her or did you go to sleep after her? She's showing me you kissing her on the head and now she's kissing you on the head. Sorry. I don't,
I
gotcha.
was asleep right before she passed, and they woke me up because I had dental surgery that day, and they told me that she was about to pass, and I kissed her on the forehead and I told her it was okay.
Yeah, yeah. She's good. She's kissing you now all the time. I'm sorry, I've never done this before over, you know.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's beautiful. I just get so excited of like how happy they are, how it's like their chance to shine. It's their chance to like talk and tell you those things that maybe we can pick up in our dreams. Maybe we think that we know the answer, but it's really sweet and beautiful when that comes through for anyone else. And I feel like I feed off of loved ones kind of excitement. So it just makes me like, I want to just like talk about everything, even when it's hard and it's still really, really healing to get like the peace and closure and stuff. Um,
My daughter, is she an old soul? My grandma.
so yes, very, very much. Let me see how I can explain this. You guys know all about like reincarnation and everything like that. Do we have people in your guys' family, or do you know like family tree stuff where we all kind of look alike? Like, is it a running joke that like, oh, you got the same eyes, same nose, same
Yes.
face, same structure? She's showing me where it's like, I don't know if this answers your question at all. Feels like she's taken it to a whole new level of here's like granddaughter's face, and then she reincarnated into this person, this 1700s, same face, and then she reincarnated to like this person, same kind of face. It's like a doppelganger kind of thing. So when you ask if she's an old soul, she's showing me like, yes, here wearing this, here wearing this, here wearing this. And it's like the same kind of face.
It's our forehead.
That's interesting. Even like baby pictures, do you guys like all look alike? Look like the girls
Yes.
in the family, maybe? Sweet. And then in your family tree, I don't know if you know anything about this. Did you guys like travel overseas anywhere? I mean, I'm sure everybody kind of did eventually at some kind of point in time. It feels like that was a lot of your ancestry or your life or whatever of like trekking on a boat and doing like overseas kind of stuff traveling. Because when I see her as well, I just got finished watching a TV show called Below Deck. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's all about the boat stuff. So I'm kind of thinking, this is from you or is this my imagination? But I feel like what she's showing me is like black and white pictures, where they didn't smile in the picture. She's like that as
Yes.
well. Like That's like what all the pictures look like.
We did travel, and I'm just trying to remember. I haven't looked at that in years, but I know we did travel on boat. And I can't remember any of the details right now, but that's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah. And then with this being said, reincarnation wise, you said that, I don't know if you said that we weren't extremely close or we just never connected to your grandma in spirit. You guys have like family trees, same family, like you all travel in groups and pairs, at least like her. I don't know if she ever gave you that like watchful energy vibe, not a control freak, but she just needs to be there. She wants to be present. She wants to keep an eye on things. That feels like why she's traveling like with you guys and like this life and the last life and the next life. Um, yeah. Any other questions for her? She's nice, she's happy, she's okay, obviously, and she's into this stuff. We've never really talked about this, but you guys are also intuitive. I keep saying you guys because Crystal has her daughter with her. But you guys have like that gene in the family where we're connected, where it wouldn't be surprising if there was like practicing witchcraft or, just like intuitives and stuff in your family tree, which is pretty interesting because I don't think I have that in my family. I just decided to, I guess, like come to earth and have these like abilities or gifts or whatever. But I think like my family tree, there wasn't like witches and stuff kind of going on there. So it's always special when someone actually has that. I feel a little bit like jealous or envious because you're like a natural.
That's her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's shaking her head. Yes, yes, yes. That's
Uh-huh.
me. She's like,
So,
which she knows things sometimes before I know things. And like she finishes my sentences. Like we are so connected. It is weird and crazy.
uh-huh. That's cool. You know what I tapped into the other day? I don't know if I put it on YouTube, I put it on TikTok too, so maybe you saw it. I tapped into like witches and witchcraft because I believe in it. I just don't know how to do it. I don't understand how it works. The whole kind of like spells and tinctures. What I tapped into was, oh my goodness, it does work because you're using like the forces, the energy of like the universe and the world to just direct something over here. So it was basically love spells work because you're just telling the like manifestation, attraction, energy, go over here to this person. And you're in love or infatuated with this person because you're on like the same vibration with them. So this love spell apparently is just saying, hey, open your eyes up and pay attention and look over here to this person. I was like, oh, whoa. I mean, the stuff is real. Maybe not love spells. That was just the example that guides were kind of giving me. So maybe I should get some pointers and stuff from you and from your daughter of how to like play with all of that.
I'm I'm dabbling, but I'm scared because I don't want to like cross this like one threshold. Like I don't want to go too far.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, okay, is this safe? Is this okay? And so I'm like, it feels good. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I've
Maybe
been
love
doing
spells
that.
was a bad example. I
No, it's
asked a
actually
question as
not.
well. Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad one. That one was a good example of one. You just have to make sure you know what you're doing because once you get somebody to fall in love with you, they're going to be in love with you forever. Forever. Whether you want them to love you anymore or not. Okay. She wants to know it, okay, she wants to know if she was a guy in her past life.
Mm, let's feel into it. What's your daughter's name, if you don't mind me asking?
Mariah.
That's right. That's right. Let's feel into Mariah's past life. Does she, I felt into something different. Did you ever buy her or did she ever want like dolls, like those porcelain kind of freaky dolls? Could be not related or whatever.
She has one.
Because when I tapped into, this is girl life, when I tapped into that, I saw her, like cleaning, dusting their faces and like propping them up. So I don't think it's in a creepy way. I think it's like making them or taking care of them or doing something with them. So I don't know if like past lives are ever like related to like this life now, but if we're like, I just want more, I just want to clean, I just want to wipe their faces, that could be like the memory kind of string from that kind of life. So boy in past life, probably yes, absolutely, because most of us have had, you know, several past lives, if not hundreds, if not thousands. Specifically, let
She
me
had a
see.
dream
And
last night and she's trying to, or the other night, she's like, I think I did.
uh-huh. You good?
It's okay. Just unplug it, Mara. It's a doorbell to let me know when my front door opens.
Mm. So yes, definitely. Mariah's still there?
Mm-hmm.
Does she have any interest with space? I want to ask the moon, but then I don't really know about the moon kind of stuff because I feel that I've asked aliens about that whole if the moon is kind of like real. Is she interested in space or the moon? I'll just ask like astronauts or maybe not so much. I tapped into something that doesn't really make sense to me, but what do we kind of know where you've been on the moon? Um, whether or not it was like Neil Armstrong kind of timing or a different kind of dimension or whatever, or not kind of Earth's moon, I just caught a glimpse of like the whole kind of crater looking stuff. So I don't even know if that's like the moon or what. Let me see. In this past life, was it Earth or was it not? Was it Earth or was it not? It feels like it was definitely human. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where we were in a past life. I'm just gonna say the moon. I don't know how that's possible. I just feel like it's that. So if we were to do like Neil Armstrong kind of timing, I feel like that's like 50, 100 years ago. Not that crazy, you know, but there's definitely some kind of connection that you were there. And I get confused because I don't know how many people have been on the moon, but I would say that you were probably one of them somehow. The other thing I wanted to say was if you feel like adventurous and also like a solo kind of adventurous of I'm just gonna go in the woods, mom. I'll be back in like an hour or something, or if that's too scary for you at all, Crystal. It feels like this was a lot of your like energy, soul kind of growing up in this life or whatever that you had. And then another thing that I want to ask for Mariah is being connected to like natures and flowers. Have you ever seen Thumbelina or have you ever shown her Thumbelina? I don't even know what that is, but it comes up a lot because that's the best way I can explain like fairies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We
The
got a
answer is yes.
connection.
And she's seen fairies when she was little. And I always
Aw,
tell her that she was crazy.
no. Yeah, I
That's
just
before
found
I
out about
believed.
fairies 2 years ago. Um, different kind of past life or different kind of something where you were like talking to fairies and you were like in the grass with them in your hand or just like wanting them to like land in your hand with like dandelions and everything. It almost reminds me, it looks like a bug's life or something, but you're a human kind of size. So with that, I think that's relevant to this life. If you, Mariah, just feel yuck or stuck or any kind of weirdness, I would say like lay in the grass and try to like connect with the ants or connect with the flowers if that's gonna like lift you like right up. Should you do that? Or
She's allergic to grass.
oh, how
But
does
she
that
does
make us
go
feel?
out into the woods and stuff.
Okay, well, maybe that's because you just spent too much gosh darn time in the grass in a different past life and they couldn't get you out of it. Um, so maybe like lay a blanket or something down.
That's what she does.
Aw, yeah, I'm gonna
And
find a
she
way to do
loves
it no matter
water.
what. Yeah.
Me and her both are very drawn to water.
Ah, like a little fish out of water mermaid.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you can be in the video if you want. She's like, no.
Yeah.
So if you could connect to her dad, that would be
Mhm.
really cool.
Sure,
See what he has to say.
absolutely. Just so we're on the same page, this is who I'm thinking of, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what we can get. So, was she really little, like baby hair? Um,
I was pregnant with her.
Oh, he's showing me her having darker hair. I don't know what color hair she has, of like baby hair. Being with her and like going like that and messing up. So did you ever like do mohawks just for fun, like by yourself?
In
And
the bathtub.
it feels like he's showing me that. So he was there. Let's see what we have, what we can get from him. We know that he's happy. He's really, really okay. He's proud of you. He's proud of you, Mariah, for like growing up really, really fast. And like when I say that, it's the responsibilities and stuff. You just learn really quick. You don't really need anyone to show you or tell you something like twice. And I don't know about like school and stuff. If you were like the top of your, like you're too smart for everyone. Let's make her skip a few kind of grades. He's complimenting you on that. And then for like collegey kind of stuff. So I don't think that we're thinking about this, but what he's saying is like, do not worry about that. Are we really kind of like school oriented where we're worried about algebra, we're worried about math, we're worried about this? He's like, no, like that is not what you need to be doing. You need to be having fun, just like being a kid, and all of that stuff is just going to bombard you in the future. Like, do not start like thinking about that now. It feels like it's like that saying of like, once you start working, you never really stop working. And
He's got college planned out.
He's saying thank you for helping your mom out. Thank you for doing all the stuff that she doesn't even notice, but it's things like, I don't know, Mariah, if you ever stay up like later or whatever, of like, oh, she left the clothes in the washer, or I'm kind of going to do this. He's saying like, thank you for that. And almost like you, Crystal, where I'm just going to ask you, are you messy, Crystal? Are you forgetful? Are you messy?
I'm
Do you like leave
forgetful.
leftovers out?
I left leftovers out the other night.
Let's all cry.
Yes.
He's like, how do you think that stuff gets cleaned up? How do you like, you just think that like things like magically like clean themselves away or put them away? It's Mariah all the time. Let me see what else. Feel free to ask any questions. He's with you guys all the time. Really, really high spirits, really, really making you guys laugh, really, really poking around. When I said poking around, he's showing me poking you. So you might know what we're talking about, Crystal. Did he used to like poke you in the belly? Like, are you ticklish like on your ribs and stuff? He's like doing this now. I don't know what.
I used to be ticklish, but I'm not anymore.
we toughened up. He's like doing this now, but I don't know if we can kind of like feel it of just like poking us. Mariah, I don't know if you ever actively think about this, like that you see him, that you feel him, that you're walking through him, but he's like playing with you to help you like believe in yourself, to like, yeah, I'm here in the room, you're talking to me. I don't know how to explain that. Like sometimes just for play, just for fun, we're just like messing around, and he's really, really kind of there. Mariah, do you ever sing like, did she ever want to be a singer? You know, like when we tried, maybe when we were younger or what, of like, you want to be, you know, that saying, he's picking, who sings that song? You should let them sing it, but that's a complete kind of joke.
That was our joke between us. But no, Mariah, when she was little, she wanted to be a singer and she sang so bad. Like I was like, Mariah, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you might want to think of something.
Oh, was it like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, like that kind of singing? That's just
like Taylor Swift.
Okay.
So I don't know. She sang a lot. It was bad.
Okay. Well, don't give up on that. Let me see.
But it has gotten so much better.
Sweet. Crystal, he's with you guys, so there's a man in the house. Let me see. Do you get like scared? Do you have motion security lights anywhere? I know
I have the ring light or the ring doorbell thing, and then if my front door opens, it sends an alarm to my bedroom. And yeah, I'm very scared.
You get freaked out? Okay. What about the place that you lived at before? Did you have like a motion light? Like anywhere kind of before? He's showing me, what is he showing me? It felt like it was a big yard and that this light went on all the time. And like that scared us more than like not having it at all.
Yes, that has been a thing.
Yeah. Of like, oh, it's nice to know if someone's there. Why does it keep going on and on?
Yes. That happened the other night too.
So I don't know what he's saying about that. That's why he's with you guys, like in the house protecting. Did you ever make like jokes that he was like a big bear? I don't know if it's like a hairy bear or a grizzly bear or whatever, but that's just like what I hear about like being a house, like the bear of the house or something.
He was like the big teddy bear, but he would be like the grizzly bear if someone was like gonna hurt us.
Aw. Let's see, what else can we ask her? Anything? Can you think of anything? You keep
What is,
talking to him out loud in your head. He can hear you. Mariah, say, Dad, be my dreams tonight. He'll show up. When we say, like, hey, I want you tonight and again and again and again, that just solidifies it. It's almost when we think of we want, our whoever to come over for dinner, but we're not inviting them. So they're not like thinking of it. That's why we need to say, be in my dream tonight.
okay, she's like, okay, I'll do that.
I don't know if this is too much. I'm like, okay, stop talking. Or
no, she's getting into a lot of the stuff. She has a lot of crystals and she's learning things, and it's kind of untraditional. I mean, like I was raised Christian and so like everything is just different. It's different now. And so like she doesn't fit in with the box religion and never really has. She's always struggled with it as well as me. Not saying that it's wrong because I feel like it's right, but not where I feel like it's more fear-based. So
yeah. Kind of same. That's so nice that like you're so open and encouraging. I wish that we kind of started this, younger, because it feels like it was all of that tension. I don't know about you, but I could probably only imagine how my family felt like in the beginning. They're still kind of iffy. My mom, she had cancer, and then you were talking about crystals. There's supposedly crystals that help you like with cancer, of like healing and stuff. So I used to make my mom sleep on these rocks and say, like, I don't care if it stabs your back, like this is supposed to work, and if you believe it, then it's going to work. So I just need you to believe this lady. And my sister found out about this, and she said that they were like the devil's rocks, and she took them away. And I was like, gosh goodness, they are just like she said they're like the devil's crystals, and I was like, they're just rocks. They're just rocks. I could have found them outside for like all there's nothing wrong with it. So we're kind of probably similar in a lot of ways.
I can sense things now since we started doing this. I don't know what, I guess it's my intuition, but I just know, that that's the answer. And I'm just like, okay. And I just know if I need to turn or stop, I'm trusting more like, oh, well, the reason the car is in front of me is because if that car wasn't in front of me, I was going to hit a deer, or certain things like that has really been happening a lot lately. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm opening these gifts, and I want to open it where I want to be able to hear like that you hear. Today was my first day to see the word yes, like multiple times.
Good. So how's your mind's eye? You were probably working and like actively working to like open that a little bit more. For example, what I mean by how's your mind's eye is when I say picture like an orange or a banana, can you kind of like, yeah, I know I see a banana, it's yellow, and it's got a sticker or whatever on it. So when I started this work, I couldn't do that. My imagination was black. My eyes were closed. I couldn't picture kind of anything. It's because you're seeing the word yes and whatever else. That's probably just like you growing that because you're paying attention to it. Once you like pay attention to like, oh, my ears are ringing, or I feel this, or I'm sensing kind of this, that's when everything kind of full circle opens up for you. I don't hear things. It's more of just downloaded, where you're asking yourself a question of, all right, what's the opposite of, go? You get that download of stop. So
Oh, well, I get
I'm
that.
not
I
much
just didn't
different.
realize it was that.
Yeah, everyone's kind of different, where people audibly hear things, or some people like, subtitles kind of see things. I did like see the word stop when I tested that, but usually it's just like, oh, me looking up in the air, all kind of directions, and it's just like, where's that information? Oh, I feel it in my intuition or my heart or my brain or wherever. Hard to explain, but that's cool. That's amazing how you can keep getting stuff like that, and how you can work on like your hearing kind of senses. When you did hear that kind of high pitch ringing, try to say, all right, crank up the volume, be more clear, speak loudly, repeat yourself, and try to like play around with that. I kind of lied. I was thinking about this last night. It's a little bit weird, but for years, I hear voices at night, like when I'm waking up or when I'm falling asleep. It kind of started when I started like meditating. I used to like meditate and like hear music, and I would like listen to it. Like, do I know this song? And I was like, I'm not listening to headphones, or there's no ice cream man outside or anything. So that's how I kind of like tuned in a little bit more. So when you're sleeping or when you hear something, try to be like, all right, I'm tuning in to hear what's kind of going on. A good way to like practice how to pay attention to that is, like musicians and stuff. I don't know if you like music where they're listening to something, they can like hear the drums and they can hear the guitar and they can like hear the piano. Try to focus on like those different sounds and like music, and that's how you can like fine tune your ears or your hearing sense or whatever to like pay attention to this instead of like what's going on around you, like multitasking.
Well, Mariah is she likes to do odd things I can't explain other than that. But like I said, she's like an old, so she likes to be right all the time. Um, she's doing this research paper thing. I don't even know what she's doing, but it's off of the disappearance of people in national parks. She's like, the only thing that makes sense is aliens. It's aliens, it's aliens, it's aliens.
Yeah. Ooh, I actually tapped into this the other day. Some kind of form of that. So we're into aliens, we must be into like Bigfoot and stuff. One of Bigfoot and Yetis, and then one of their main kind of jobs, we talked about this too, right, Crystal?
Yeah.
Was to protect people in the forest of like kind of like save them and whisk them away instead of let them kind of be found. And like the yuck kind of like details in that, but that's interesting. I was gonna say another thing. Oh, Mariah always wanting to be right. That's because her knowing sense is like, yes, absolutely. So you can't really probably fight her on, no, that's not true, or no, blah blah blah. I just say, just listen to her, just trust her. She knows what she's talking about.
How old were you? You were 3? She was 3 years old, and I pre-ordered my sister a vanilla cake. It had icing on it. It was her 30th birthday. And she goes, Mom, it's chocolate. And I said, Mariah, it's vanilla. And we cut into this pre-made cake, and it was chocolate. And she's been like, that's just one instance. She does this all the time.
Oh,
Drives me
I
crazy.
love that. And then good on you, going back to like being so open and accepting of that. When things like that happened, when we were growing up, when other people were growing up, their parents would say like, no, stop that, stop spewing that crazy stuff. And so the kid would just like shut it down, turn it off, don't use their intuition anymore because they didn't want to be outcast or weird or, not loved.
Well, she
So
did shut it down, and she did do something like a long time ago. When she was, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 on up until she was almost 11, she would every night almost wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would hear her talking to somebody. And she was always, I'd be like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm talking to my dad. We're playing. And I'd just like, okay, I'm going to bed. But that was before I was open to everything.
mhm.
And she shut it down. But then whenever I became open, it allowed her to open back up again.
Amazing. Yeah. Extremely, extremely gifted.
But, oh, that was one question that I was wondering. Someone told me that I have a gift with writing. And does that mean that I should be like, what's that writing called that you say free writing or whatever it's
Automatic
called?
writing.
Yeah, automatic writing. Yep. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to try it or do it, but like, is that
Here,
something I should try?
I'm gonna ask you a few questions. I love, my favorite thing is like someone told me this. I'm like, oh God, what did they tell you? Like you're cursed. For you
Ooh, that's
specifically, I actually believe this person. I think that they're onto something. Have you ever heard of, I don't even know what it's called, light language, where people, they remember stuff so much, or they tap into something from like a previous life, or that their true kind of soul. And in light language, they like speak this like different language, it's like alien or kind of whatever. For you specifically, when you asked me that question, I saw, before we established that you're talking about automatic writing, like you holding a pen, and like these hieroglyphics were just like coming out of like your pen or your hand or your soul or your imagination. So yes, I think that you should try automatic writing. What that is where you kind of, it's whatever you want it to be. You can like write down a question and then try to just like doodle, answer your answer, blah, 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 make shit up. And then you'll like tap into like, oh, wow, the meaning of life is da, 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 da. Or you can be like scribbling, doodling. I feel like this is really hard. And supposedly after a while, you'll start like kind of writing stuff. For you specifically, I feel like there's like symbolism stuff that doesn't need to come out, but it could absolutely come out. It's going to look like hieroglyphics and stuff. Um, that's what I feel. So if you want to do automatic writing to like get your own kind of like downloads, ideas out, answer your own kind of questions, yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's necessary. It just feels like it's possible for you in the form of like hieroglyphics coming out of something that doesn't mean anything because we don't know what it means.
Okay. You said cursed. I have a kind of, so there was this person that put dead flowers on where I work, and it was wrapped with a pair of jean material. So I'm assuming that there was symbolism between the jean material
Mm-hmm.
and the dead flowers. And I understand that that's like a negative thing, but are we like protected? Because like that freaked me out.
Sure. I actually tried Googling that and nothing came up because I think I was on the phone with you when we FaceTime trying to ask about that because Google doesn't know what it's talking about. So with curses and hexes, and this was my like intuition belief, and I've asked like about it twice, to who, aliens and stuff, that if you say, I'm not cursed, I don't believe in that, I'm not gonna, no, you're not gonna curse me, then you're like untouchable. But if we kind of feel, oh no, I'm cursed, I feel it, I see it, then it's gonna kind of like stick a little bit. Are you cursed? Cut that cord of like feeling and believing it. And no,
I
is
don't
your
feel
kind
like
of,
it's me. I feel like it's the person that's close to me.
do they know about the flowers and like the jean
Mm-hmm.
material?
And they said, "Oh no, I'm good. I don't believe in that." And I'm like, "You should believe in that because that's real." And so I was just curious about that.
Yeah. Let's tap into that and see like the real kind of answer. When this person said no, I don't believe in that, I feel like it's like in the back of their mind or going to be like when sales do this or when this kind of happens. You guys where you work, have they replaced like any kind of like plumbing, or is there have like been like any kind of like leaking stuff? I want to say like yet.
I've been, oh, that's crazy. I've had a feeling that something plumbing is fixing to go wrong. I don't know why. It's just that feeling. And anytime I get those feelings, it happens. Like, it's like almost like a warning, like, hey, this is fixing to happen. Don't freak out. So that happens a lot with me.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's not, you don't get the feeling like your place, right? It's at your work.
it's at my work.
Yeah. I
So
saw like,
that's odd.
if this curse could do anything, it's messing with the water where you got to replace this and got to replace that and then go back to that plumbing kind of thing, replace that again. And then we're having an issue over here where the ceiling's kind of leaking. So a little bit of just like small kind of unfortunate events, unfortunately, is what I feel.
And so speaking of work, what do you see? Am I going to be in the same place? Like, am I here for a little bit? Like, is this good?
You have all the free will in the world.
Yes.
A funny thing I think you kind of mentioned was we wanted to get into like the PTA program so bad, or like do fine in school. And I was like, yeah, you're fine. I do see there being like a break or a gap or something. Don't forget about it. Don't freak out about it. But we're like living that now, where we found something that we're doing now that we kind of like a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like your job is good. I mean, this is me being honest with you because you should know this. And it's also kind of funny how I would not withhold anything, but I do see you like a year of just like changing your mind, where I wouldn't tell you that because you're good, you're safe until you change your mind. Like, do not worry about that. If you were, I don't want to say like if you were a client, because honestly, I probably wouldn't lie to anyone. I just say that because it's like, oh, I could actually feel how you're going to freak out about this. Um, it's like, yeah, your kind of guides would want you to say, would want me to say, yeah, perfectly fine. It's all good. It's all gravy. It's all great. But what I can feel is, yeah, you're there. You're happy until it's like, oh, we figured to do something else. So, and that's like at least a year from now. I might say like exactly one kind of year from now. It's just what I feel about that. Don't freak out about that. So
I'm
make you
not
feel
freaking
okay.
out. I'm good
Yeah.
with it. And I also, uh, I don't remember what dream. You have to be more specific. She and so while she's typing that up, um, so I sense things before it happens, and I don't. This is just recent, so I feel it, and doesn't mean it's going to happen right away, and I'm okay with that, and I've accepted those kind of things. But I feel like I'm going to be moving again, and I just moved, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
But I'd say within the next year. But is it a wedding?
Is it a wedding? Is your
Yes.
moving a wedding?
Am
Like,
I
is that why
moving
you
because
moved?
we get married?
Oh. So when I tap into that, do you have anxiety where you say that you feel these things and you know it, you know it's true, but do we also kind of spin out about that a little bit? A little bit. That's what I feel of. Oh no, this is a potential. It's very, very possible, and we're worried about it, and so that's why it's not like you're picking up the wrong kind of signals. It's just like it's amplified. So what I mean by that is it like in your path absolutely right now to be moving very, very soon or within a year or like less than a year? It feels like no. And that's not because we're not getting married. It's more of, um, I just feel that there's like more, I don't want to say stability because it's perfectly fine. See you being in your house for a little bit longer. Because like, what's the word? No, where we agree on something. What's that word? Compromises, because of things like that, where it doesn't mean we break up, doesn't mean we don't get married. We might get married very, very soon. But it's like we decide like this was a better decision because of this, and then we're gonna do this. That's what I feel about that.
Okay. Now she finally got it. Okay. So before my sister-in-law passed away, my daughter came to me that she had a dream that she passed away. And you can ask her because like all I remember is
she didn't pass away in the dream.
no, okay. Then what was it?
At the beginning of the dream, I kept switching out which house I was at, and I was confused on where I was sleeping at, and that was freaking me out to begin with. And then there were so many of you, and I can't remember if there was any in front of you. Like there was one at least
For each person that was in her dream. So she switched houses a lot in her dream. But for each person in the dream, like that's how many years they had left to be with her. And so like there was a bunch of me, and then there was only like
15 of you.
There was 15 of me. And so that's a bunch. That's not that long though. But then there was only like one of Granny B. And then there was only like, what about Aunt Clarissa?
She wasn't in the dream.
Oh, she wasn't in the dream, so she had died.
But there was a figure in the dream.
And so she's asking, it was that, I don't know,
real
is that
or
like
true or valid?
Yeah.
So for you, Mariah, and this is for some people, but it's kind of different. Don't get hung up on the details like that, because your dream is like your intuition, where it's kind of subconscious stuff of like, I just feel this to my core. So when we have dreams of like mom gets in a car accident or whatever, that's not going to be real. That's going to be like, we were thinking about this or watching this on TV or whatever. For that dream specifically, I feel like you were, yes, tapped into something, but the details of what does this mean? What does that mean? Might not be kind of anything. So the significance that like that one person who we weren't in their house, that could be from that, but I wouldn't be like, oh no, 15 years left with, mom. Maybe not so much. Maybe that was just like a small kind of detail. What I mean by that is, yes, absolutely, probably tapped into something, but don't be like, oh my gosh, the year was this and it was this, and I saw this, and she's wearing this shirt and she had this kind of hair, so I need to dye my hair. Try not to get hung up on like the not silly details, but like all of the details of your dreams.
What was the figure?
Oh, and she said that there was a figure in her dream. How did you make you feel? Was it scary?
It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
Okay, she was terrified. So of this figure.
If it would have stood up straight, it would be like almost to the ceiling. Against the door, its back was hunched over like this.
So it was hunched over like this, and it was really big.
Mm-hmm. I used to be a little paranormal demon freak investigator, where I'd be like, oh, it's just like the wild things or thing like this. Ask her if she's ever seen like Barbara Duke. That's what it reminds me of. But so this thing wasn't like a demon or a bad thing, or it's not a spirit guide either. It's more of our this thing specifically, for other people it might be a different story. This was like our subconscious kind of crap trauma things manifested into a thing that could never get you or hurt you. But when we're just like stressed out and we're worried about this, and we're feeling yucky about this, and we're going through like depression, that's when it's like, oh, your inner demons are here, or like your shadow kind of stuff is here. Are you going to face it, or are you going to have this thing lurking around in the corner of your dreams? That's probably why it was like super scary to death, not because we have all this like trauma and stuff, but it just feels like that's a little bit of our shadow stuff manifested into the form of freaky guy touching the ceiling. So nothing can hurt you. That can't hurt you. It also makes me think of Scooby-Doo. If you guys ever saw Scooby-Doo, where you take off the mask and it's not so scary anymore. If you were to say, to this thing in your dream of, I'm not afraid of you, it would probably transform into something that's not kind of, big and scary.
Next time
in my dream, I was trying to plan how to defeat it.
Well, next time just say, I'm not afraid of you anymore. So, really weird question about the pandemic kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm so disconnected from the world right now. Like, I don't watch TV at all. Mm-hmm. But, like, people come up to me and they're like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It doesn't feel it. It doesn't feel like that's going to happen. But then I'm like, let's just prepare just in case.
Yeah.
So are we going to go back into a, I don't want to say a shutdown, but like a shutdown again? Are they going to try that? I feel like there's an ulterior motive over here, but we can't see it.
I feel so. My guides have been preparing me for something. When I tap in, it's like, hey, just know you'll be okay. Pass on. Everyone's going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. So that's why I get a little bit of like, what are we going to kind of like tap into? The other thing that I've noticed and that I've heard from like channeling with friends is every 3 months it's different. A year ago when I tapped into all of this thing, completely kind of different story than what we're going through. And recently when I was camping, if you remember, I literally fell into like the universe did not plan something like this. Like it was not supposed to escalate this much. Some kind of mistake was made. And so during that time, like a month or so ago, what I tapped into was, there's going to be another kind of thing where stuff was getting so much out of hand that more action needed to be taken, that it was like less of controlling kind of like government stuff. Tapping into that now, it feels like some of that's actually died off, where I don't know if it's true because we're cut out. Much of people like listening be laughing that steps have been taken of like, that's happening in places. And like, that's that like big kind of thing of it's coming up, like going like more kind of like lockdowns and stuff. I feel like we're past that of, I don't know if it already happened or it was just like, didn't kind of happen. So to answer your question, do I feel like it's going to happen more lockdowny kind of stuff? I don't know if this is true, but this is just what I feel, that a lot of the stuff is kind of in the past where can't scare us again, can't do that to us again. Like, no, we're just over it. We're just tired of it. We're just, no. You know how in like the beginning it was like riots and no and our rights. Now it feels like if this were to happen, people would be like, no, no,
That's how I felt, but I'm just like, I don't trust myself.
Still.
Yeah, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, good things. Trust yourself.
Well, I've gotten better since I've been doing this with you. Probably meditation. Actually, I know meditation would help me more because it keeps coming up.
That was my like 2014, 15, and 16 of like the answer to everything was just meditate. And I fought it. I resisted it so much. And then when I finally did that, it's like, oh, well, that's why everything's like working now. That's why blah, blah, blah. Like, well, this is actually happening. That's why I'm getting these downloads. It's because I just kind of like took the time to like sit with myself, laughing because I haven't meditated in like weeks, probably even months. But yeah, it's the thought that kind of counts.
That's right.
So, this was fun. Got any other questions?
Any other questions?
Has Forrest ever tried to?
Oh, that's a really good question. So, my daughter had a little friend, and her brother passed away in a bike accident, and I had a dream of him. He came to me in my dream, and I was like, "That's weird. I should reach out to the mom and tell her." But then I was like, "No, don't tell her. That's crazy." She wants to know if he like is around and talks, or like if he comes to her in dreams and stuff.
Why did you ask if he talks?
He didn't talk to me.
That's what I got, that there was no voice, that there was no kind of thing going on. Not because of anything. It just felt, I was gonna ask you like, not how he passed away on a bicycle or anything like that, of like if he talked when he was little or if he was old enough. I mean, if he's old enough to ride a bike, maybe he was old enough to talk if he did kind of talk. I just got that feeling as well, that there was something about like not talking. And it's nothing scary or bad that we're thinking of. It just feels like it's significant of maybe he didn't talk so you didn't scare his mother, you know.
He was really shy as whenever he was around people. So he was really quiet, reserved.
Yeah, he's around. Did they ever do things like jump rope together? Did your daughter ever like jump rope, hopscotch? I mean, normal kind of kid stuff.
We would play on the trampoline.
They would play on the trampoline.
Did your daughter ever like stick up for him? Like, do you remember like not bullies, but like,
I remember one incident that she did, and it was a pretty big incident.
Yeah, he likes her. Yeah, he's around her because like she had his back or has his back. And um I mean, maybe not obviously because we're not close family and things like that. He's not like with us all the time, but yeah, comes around.
Okay. Is that it? Well, I wasn't totally prepared for this. Like, I wasn't sure what we were doing. And I was like, I don't know. Because I'm always so busy normally. But I was like, next time I'm going to have more questions written out and had more time to think things through.
Yeah, this was fun. We talked for a whole hour. I appreciate you. And hopefully it was, nice and stuff.
It was cool. Like, it was way more informative for me. And I think Mariah got a lot out of this too.
Nice to do little mini readings for you guys and connect with our loved ones and stuff together.
She is very, very smart.